Yes, it's still open. We saw employees leaving for the day this evening. Looked like a day with business as usual. But some people have said it's been a little bit quieter here because some workers are doing their jobs from home. Amazon, meanwhile, is trying to track down anyone who had close contact with this employee.
Amazon says an employee in its Brazil office tower is among the confirmed coronavirus cases in the Seattle region. The company says the worker was not feeling well last Tuesday and went home sick. They have not returned to the office since and are in quarantine. King County Public Health announced 7 new coronavirus cases Tuesday. 4 of them are people who spent time at Life Care Center of Kirkland, a nursing home at the center of the outbreak. The county says one of the new coronavirus fatalities was a Life Care resident who was hospitalized at Harborview Medical Center and died last Wednesday. UW Medicine says some hospital staff may have been exposed to the virus while caring for the patient in an intensive care unit. Those healthcare workers are being monitored and screened daily. The hospital says it doesn't think other patients were potentially exposed. Amazon, meanwhile, is in the process of notifying employees who came into close contact with the infected worker.
So what does close contact look like? The CDC says that would be 6 feet or less. So imagine someone sitting 1 desk over or 2 desks over. Those are people you'd want to contact and then monitor for any symptoms. If you're beyond 6 feet, CDC says you're at low risk of contracting a virus. Live in South Lake Union, Ted Land, King 5 News.
All right.